FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Today's show is brought to you by U.S. Gold Corp. U.S. Gold Corp is a U.S.-focused gold exploration and development company advancing high-potential projects in Wyoming and Nevada. U.S. Gold Corp has consolidated a district on Nevada's productive Cortex Trend and is advancing the Copper King project towards production in Wyoming, led by a team of prolific company builders and renowned explorers, including Dave Mathewson, who is directly responsible for several major Nevada gold discoveries. U.S. Gold Corp is well-capitalized and has an extremely tight share structure with less than 20 million shares outstanding and trades on the NASDAQ, a major exchange, under the ticker symbol USAU. To learn more, go to usgoldcorp.gold. That's usgoldcorp.gold.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's April 1st, 2019. So what better day to do a triple Lutz report? This is episode number 468. It's time for another triple Lutz report. I wrote this a while ago. I don't know if you read it or not. At least a couple thousand of you did, but I feel we should all take a look at it. So the title was Bad Manners Equals Bad Politics, and the Oxford Dictionary defines manners as polite or well-bred social behavior. And America should be mourning the death of manners and common courtesy. You know, once upon a time, manners were taught and ingrained in schools and at home. Discipline would often be imposed for serious transgressions. Unfortunately, for us, for you, for me, and society as a whole, successive generations have downgraded the importance and the need for them. Look, for myself, at a young age, my parents introduced me to such considerations as holding the door for those following behind you, keeping one's elbows off the table, not picking my teeth at the table, or grabbing food with my fingers. It was drummed into me that my hands and fingernails should be kept clean and well manicured. And my mother would also glare at me when I took large bites of food or belched in public. Such things were just not tolerated in our household or in the civil society of the day. And as a parent, I attempted to impress these values, and I was mostly successful in impressing the values upon my children. While they are well-mannered adults, some things just didn't stick. I would often threaten my oldest daughter, Chelsea, with mandatory charm school attendance. Years later, she begged me to send her there as she realized that some of her social graces were not up to par. I replied that as an adult, it was up to her to figure it out now. You didn't listen to me back then. It's your problem. So why are manners and common courtesies so important? And the answer to that lies in what should be our collective desire for the attainment and maintenance of a civil society. And what does such a society look like? It is a place where people extend to each other basic common courtesies and a minimum level of respect. Once upon a time, it was expected, but now it's often a shock to see it when it happens. When a stranger infrequently holds the door for me, I thank them profusely because I believe that it's a practice worth supporting and preserving. It's incumbent upon all of us to do everything in our power to encourage good manners in others. Whether it's a street person following me through a doorway or a young lady who's having trouble carrying her packages, I will always offer assistance. When we fail to extend such courtesies to one another, we lose mutual respect and our daily existence becomes a less happy and cheerful place. There is a basic human need to be treated with kindness and dignity. The point was recently driven home to me when I held the car door open for a friend. Sadly, she informed me that her ex-husband had never extended such a courtesy to her, let alone pulling out a chair at a restaurant. This is a virtual slap in the face. Proper manners are a required part of the social contract and a required part of our relationships with others. It is said that prison inmates are some of the most well-mannered people on the planet. Why? Failure to observe such norms can result in immediate death. When two inmates accidentally bump into one another, apologies fly. Perhaps the biggest reason why non-carcerated individuals should exercise good and proper manners is because the thin veil of civilization, which makes our existence so tolerable, is fragile and requires regular reinforcement. The vast societal breakdown in manners has gravely affected the quality of our political discourse. When both parties to an argument show good manners and express common courtesy, a likely meeting of the minds is greatly increased. At the very least, an agreement to disagree can be had, which leaves open the chance of finding future common ground. Even when there is no possibility of agreement, the parties usually part on friendly terms. However, lack of manners can end in violent disagreement. Coming to blows will often be the end result. Perhaps the elimination of the duel speeded up the civility decline. In earlier times, disagreements about bad manners and slights of common courtesy were sometimes settled in the dueling square. Prior to the face-off, apology and reconciliation often happened. However, if the recalcitrant parties couldn't make amends, then dueling was inevitable. The number of duels ending in one of the parties' death was actually quite small, but it underscored the often fatal nature of bad manners, and it put an unacceptable price on boorish behavior. Certainly, I am not advocating the return to dueling. It's just an example of how seriously our ancestors took their manners and courtesies. I long for these bygone days where good manners and common courtesy were the rule and not the exception. These often unwritten behavioral codes were essential to our common social interactions. Is there a way back to civil society? One can only hope. So, look, it really is amazing when you think how far the society's fallen. And you just have to look at what goes on in Washington now. Now, look, our president, not the best manners, often crude, often interrupts, and often is just not that good. But a lot of it is reaction to the left. They've been doing it for years. And the right has tried to keep their nose above it, take the higher path and all that. It just hasn't worked. And yeah, here's an idiot who did a comment here. This is ironic, Kerry, when you yourself are so discourteous or to professional scientists saying that, and I quote you, scientists use false data, that the data accumulation was flawed and deliberately skewed. In other words, that climate scientists are criminals. Well, you said that, Jerry, not me. You also do many august institutions the disservice and discourtesy of dismissing their findings as fraud. For instance, the many independent investigations of the so-called climate gate emails. We cannot take you protestations, that should be a sick there, your protestations about good manners seriously when you are so ready to impugn the honest efforts of others purely for ideological reasons. So here's Kurt, who comes to my defense, and I don't know any of these people. I know Jerry. He's been trolling me for years, and every now and then I tweak him just for the heck of it. So, Kerry, calling out some of the reams of false climate data is not discourteous. It is a service to those seeking honesty and truth. Ideologues are the core component of the climate racket. There are thousands of highly accredited and award-winning scientists who do not endorse the climate fraud. Taxation seems to be the highest calling of the climate movement, and ever-rising taxation may be great for useless bureaucrats, but not for humanity. Thank you for your honest efforts to educate those who believe the provable lies. And Here's Dan. He says, okay, Dan, I agree. Good manners did not die with the end of duels. It died when society would bring the law onto those trying to keep people civil. It used to be if a guy was disrespectful of a woman, someone would deck him, and that would be the end of it. Now the person trying to keep people civil goes to jail. So it's devolved to jerks disrespecting your wife and daughter right in front of you. And you feel your only option is to ignore it, which of course encourages the bad behavior. Liberals' good intentions of wanting everyone to be civil has prevented the behavior that actually kept society civil. Hey, that is a really great point, Dan. And the duel definitely helped keep people on the up and up. But I will agree with you, it wasn't the end. As far as the climate goes, look, you can make your own decisions. I have my opinion. Since when did expressing your own opinion and evaluating evidence and evaluating arguments turn into discourteousness? This is a guy who has made disparaging comments about my religion. Not that I'm religious, I'm really a secular person, but still, like, come on. You're going to get to me that way? It's just silly. It's really silliness. Arguments are essential to developing the public discourse and really getting people to think about things. It really is. So you need to think about this, guys, because it's important. And Jerry, I only wish you the best of luck. So AOC is a moron and is discourteous. She is nasty, vindictive. She is clearly a person who is a legend in her own mind. She is really pathetic. And when I say she's stupid, normally I would not use that as a disparaging comment for those who disagree with me. But really, the world is going to end in 12 years. Well, if it's going to end in 12 years, we're a little late getting started. We can't save it anyway. So that's number one. Even if we shut off all the oil and natural gas and we started plugging up cow butts, just kill all the cows, because the only way to stop them from their flatulence is to kill them. And all animals mammals produce flatulence. I'm afraid that is just a scientific fact, whether you believe it or not. The Green New Deal is ridiculous. And look, the New Deal sucked. The New Deal burdened us with the beginning of many social programs that are now bankrupt, like Social Security, not so much Medicare, but various programs that had never got rid of. The Tennessee Valley Authority, all these different programs really should have never existed. The private sector should have been the one to develop these resources. So the New Deal by Morgenthau, who was Roosevelt's Treasury Secretary, he said, never before have we spent so much money, gone into so much debt, and not accomplished anything. And that was in 1939, long after the New Deal was implemented. Could have been done by the private sector. Same thing with Social Security. We wouldn't be in the situation we're in now. So to think that a Green New Deal is somehow going to be better than a 30s New Deal is ridiculous. Why didn't she just call it the Green Great Society? Because it's just a big, huge welfare program, plain and simple. So de Blasio, moron, is really... he's just intent on turning New York City into a banana republic, into the black hole of Calcutta. He thinks he actually has a chance to run for president, and he hasn't thrown his hat into the ring yet, but he's getting ready to. You can just tell. Talk about someone who is completely self-unaware. This guy is it. He doesn't know what an idiot he is. So there's this guy, Pete Buttigieg. I think he's the mayor of South Bend, Louisiana. I call him Pete Buttplug because I cannot pronounce Buttigieg. I don't even know if it can be pronounced. It's one of those unpronounceable names. So Pete Buttplug, I think he could be the Democrats' best prospect for the White House. I don't know, it was something about that guy, but he raised $7 million, which, hey, that could buy a hell of a butt plug for sure. Beto O'Rourke, ridiculous. This is a freak show, the Democratic pool of contenders. Pocahontas, she's an incompetent, a moron as well. Not a moron, but she has whacked out ideas that can't possibly work. Kamala Harris, forget her. They just have no chance. Amy Klobuchar actually has some interesting concepts, thoughts, but she has no possible chance. Maybe some of these people are going for VP, but Beto O'Rourke, he's always jumping on tables. He's whacking his arms around, spinning like a top on these tables. Oh, he's so cool. He rides a surfboard in there. Maybe that's good for the millennials. I don't know. But remember Pete Buttplug. He is the man to watch. One other thing. Oh, the moron AOC said that I think it's the 23rd Amendment, which restricted a president, term limited a president to 2 terms, was passed by the Republicans to throw FDR out of office. Only problem is that amendment came in 1947. FDR died in 1945. So AOC, you moron, get your historical facts straight. All right. I know it's not civil to call you a moron, but I could call you an intellectually challenged bartender, and maybe that would be better. It's just stupidity. You have to call it out when you see it. You can't have a logical argument with this woman. She has never gone on Fox News or any other venue that people with a different viewpoint than hers could actually challenge her on it. So she's a coward. She's afraid to have her ideas tested in public. And now everyone's sick with her. She got 19% in her district in the primary. For nobody votes in primaries in New York. It's one party city. And now, her campaign manager has conducted all these nefarious acts on her behalf. Money being shuffled in and out of the campaign, money laundering, obvious something's going to come down there. And hey, pretty soon we're going to find out whether Q is for real or not. I don't mean that he's not for real, and I don't mean that he's a theory, even though I called him that. But until I see Comey get arrested, Clapper, get treated for his disease, and Brennan let out in a straitjacket because the man is insane, stupid, low talent individual. And I know I am being uncivil right now, but this is our politics of the day, and there's kind of no way getting it back. We'll just say that John Brennan, not the sharpest tack on the board, okay? But until these guys get led away in cuffs and get indicted, Q is all well and good, and I know there's truth to it. I want to see the plan actually be implemented. It's not enough to just sit around and watch it and everybody saying, well, it didn't come this week, but maybe next week or next month or blah, blah, blah. Hey, I was the one that predicted Trump was going to win. I've seen a lot of good things about this so-called plan, a lot of things happening. I hope that it really comes to pass. But we've been disappointed so many times. All of those indictments are not real. They're not all indictments, sealed indictments. All of that statistical nonsense. I explained to you on many occasions why there are not 800,000 sealed indictments. It doesn't work that way. The judicial system doesn't work that way. And how could there be no leaks? Somebody on one of those grand juries is going to go, he's drinking in a bar with his buddies, all right? The guy is in Texas. It's before a Texas grand jury in Houston or Dallas, and they decide that they're going to lock up the Bushes. You're going to tell me that this guy is not going to be drinking with his buddies, even though the judge has said, do not tell anybody about any of this. You are pledged to secrecy. The grand jury's proceedings are sacrosanct. You're going to try to tell me that this guy isn't saying, hey, you're not going to believe this, but all of the Bush family just got sealed indictments against them, and I voted for it. Come on. It has to leak out. No leaks, I don't buy it. I'm just not buying this. So, yes, I believe in Q. The proofs are kind of irrefutable, but is the plan, the so-called plan, going to come to pass? And Sessions was not part of that plan. He was compromised. He was controlled because he could have done what Attorney General Barr did in his first few weeks as Attorney General, but he copped out and opted out. And that was just fine with him. He didn't care. He said he wasn't going to prosecute Hillary, any of this. So until the indictments come down, until they start locking people up, I'm not buying that these military tribunals are taking place in Gitmo. I just don't believe it. Are they waiting for RBG to go to the courtroom in the sky and then they'll have 6-3? I don't know the answer to that. Or 5-4 because you can't trust Roberts. He's basically off the reservation, Roberts. I don't know the answer. I don't mean to get all embroiled into political nonsense, but man, this sure is fun to watch. I mean, all this time I've been hearing that Trump was going to be impeached, led away in cuffs. His kids were going to be, they were going to have a chain gang, a Trump chain gang. They'd all be let out into, come on, silliness. I told my buddies at Starbucks from the get-go, you are never, ever going to see this happen. It's never happening. It couldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. It just couldn't happen. And guess what? Guess who was right? It's silliness. I don't know what their game was, but the game certainly failed pretty miserably. And now let's see if Trump actually fights back and really gives them a piece of him, right? He certainly is vindictive to some extent, and he certainly isn't above fighting dirty and really laying it on. And I will have to say that I totally enjoyed his event that took place in Michigan, Grand Rapids. It was one for the books. I thought he was fabulous in it. So let's see what happens next. I'm just not sure. But hey, prayers, thoughts are with you. Anyways, hey, by the way, working very closely now with Jason Hartman, jasonhartman.com. If you want, email me, kl@kerrylutz.com. Got loads of properties all over the country, some of them with cash-on-cash returns, 8 to 10, 11, 12%. Good properties, new construction. What I really like is new construction down in the Memphis area, 149,000, buys you about 8-9% cash-on-cash return. Really nice homes, 3 to 1,450 square feet. So if you want to know, check it out. Hey, don't forget, check out the YouTube channel. We're doing a lot of stuff on there now. A lot of you are listening there. Please subscribe, like, and share. Not necessarily in that order. You could do it in the opposite order. Hit that notification bell. So whenever we upload a new episode, you will get immediate notification of it. So, whatever platform you're listening to us, there's a means of subscribing, liking, and sharing. Please do it. Really helps me a lot when you do it. Helps get these ideas out, helps get divergent viewpoints out, because the left is trying to choke off all political debate. Hope you enjoyed it. Email me, kl@kerrylutz.com. If you like the show, if you want a particular guest, I'm really open to getting your guest. We've got today a really good show today on the 1st. We've got Brent Johnson. He has the milkshake theory, monetary theory. And so one of you suggested that I have him on. Got people from all over the place, and we're getting your guests on. So just send me a name. If he's got a website, please let me know the website. We will do our damnedest to get him on the show. Anyway, that's it. Been another Triple Lutz report. This is Kerry Lutz signing off.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.